Good morning, students of class 9. Welcome back to the classes now. We'll continue our lesson in history, forest society and colonialism. We are coming to the end portion, 4.5, new developments in forestry. This is the last point. New developments in forestry. Let's talk about, there are altogether 6 points. We'll go through one by one. Since 1980s, away after our country got freedom, 1980s, governments across Asia and Africa, around Asia and Africa, all the governments have begun to see that, they realized and they saw that scientific forestry, which was practiced by the colonial governments, scientific forestry and the policy of keeping forest communities, the policies made by the government around Asia and Africa. What was the policy? To keep the forest communities away from the forest has resulted many conflicts and quarrels and revolts. They have seen and realized. Now what should be done then? The government changed their policies. Even after India got its freedom, achieved its freedom after 1947, during 1947, after that forest communities were also not allowed to enter the forest. The same thing was happening, and the governments realized that keeping the forest communities away from the forest has resulted many rebellions, many revolts and conflicts and disturbances. So they have to change their policies. So now, number 2, conservation of forest. Rather than collecting timber for industries, collecting timber has become more important. Now the governments have realized that conservation of forest is more important than taking out raw materials from the forest. Conservation is very important. It has to be done because most of the forests are gone. So number 3, government has recognized that to save forest, they came to know that in order to save forest, the people who live near the forest must be involved. They must be included in the forest management. Not only the government. If government is only there for forest management, the local people, they will steal the wood. They will not take care of the forest. In fact, they will cut down the trees against the government. So that's why the government realized and recognized that to save the forest, conservation of forest, the people who live near the forest, villagers, must be involved in the forest management. So government understood this. So in India, let's talk about India. In India, forests have survived, is there due to this policy. Because of this policy, forest management involved by the local communities as well as the government, both joint management. So in India, forests have survived due to this policy of involving the local communities in the forest management, as the villagers protected them in sacred groves, because villagers, they believe that forests have got spirits, so we must not cut the forest because forests provide us a lot of materials for our survival, so we should not cut forest. They protected the forest. So each community, they had their own forest and it was protected by the communities. So in this way, the policy was fulfilled. Whatever the government desired or whatever the government wanted for the conservation of forest, it was fulfilled. So as the villages protected them in sacred groves, sacred group means the forest where the villages people protected those forests. These forests are protected forests are called sacred groups by the village communities. Known as, it is locally named as in certain areas such as in Arunachal Pradesh, in Mizoram, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and in central India. So forests have survived because of this. The local name of these areas, the sacred groups are locally named as Sarnas, Kan, Rai, Devra, Kundu. These are the local names of these sacred groups. Sacred groups means the forest which is protected by the local communities, etc. These are the local names in India. Now, number 5, some villagers, the local communities, have been patrolling their own forest areas instead of leaving it to the forest guard only. So because they did not believe forest guards, so they did not left the protection entirely to the forest guard. They began to control and patrol the forest by these local communities so that their forest is protected. Number 6, local forest communities, the villagers and environmentalists, those who study about environments, local communities, forest communities and environmentalists are thinking of different forms of forest management. Different forms of forest management, they are thinking about that. So lot of schemes are implemented, lot of ideas are implemented, such as Chipko movement, One Mahotsav, and so on. Every year plantation of forest to conserve forest, because forests are the lungs of our earth, of the people. So they provide fresh air as well as raw materials, many things. So they understood, that's how forest communities and environmentalists are thinking of different forms of forest management. So this is all about new development in forestry after 1980s. So this is the end portion of our lesson, Forest Society and Colonialism. Now in our next class we will do about the pastoralist. Pastoralist means the people who graze animals. So we'll talk about that, and this much for today. We'll meet in the next class, and thank you for watching the video, and hope you are staying safe and studying regularly at home. That's all for today. Thank you very much.